Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well. Welcome to tonight's second half. Before we jump into tonight's second half, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go. And folks, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to today's second half, shall we? All right, guys. Tonight I have a subscriber with us. He's from California. Ed, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great, Jeff. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for taking some time out of your evening to come on and share your experiences with us. You've got a lot, actually, and you and I have talked for a while prior to this. You are from California, and there's a lot of stuff that you are comfortable sharing and a lot of stuff you're not comfortable sharing, for reasons that we may get into later on in the show. But this all started for you how long ago?
I'd say about now, it's been, I'm bad with time, but, roughly about 5 years ago.
Okay. Now, when you had these experiences, that when everything started for you, you had really never heard of Dogman. I mean, everybody's heard of Bigfoot and stuff like that, but where you're located in California, Bigfoot isn't really a predominant thing in that area. So yeah. I guess it all started for you when you were looking for a new location for your business. You want to start there for us?
Yes. Me and my pops, we have, it's a building, but there's two different areas to it, but we needed a business because we had some contracts for some UAVs to be built. Okay. So, so pretty much, we got this location, and then right away I realized, and then also too on the side, I do like other things, I built race cars for days, and I do crazy sound system. So anyway, I keep a lot of stuff around. So pretty much, and then the sensitive stuff we couldn't have people breaking in. Right. So I started staying around, and getting, the local, homeless population, and, the thieves, and, there's a lot of drug problems out here in California. It's, real bad epidemic, bad. Yeah. So, so I, always clearing people out of here and stuff, but there was, always these ones that I couldn't catch. They were always too fast, or they were on the roofs jumping off or beating on the buildings, and they'd be out there screaming, like somebody was harming a lady,
like a woman really getting murdered, right?
Yes, yeah. Exactly. But I would say like 90% that mixed with a little bit of owl and almost a dog to it, like the creepiest sounds. It'd give you goosebumps, literally. So we ran out there, I can't tell you how many times, stupidly now, looking for the ladies, trying to help them, trying to figure out what's going on, or, get somebody, right. And nothing, and then between that, all the other crazy stuff, I'll try to, I'll fast forward it a little bit.
Well, but, there's something that's funny that you had said when we were talking, and there's a lot of people that are familiar with people who are on drugs, and that are, just really straight bottom, of the barrel people. And, you had made a comment to me that you thought that these, the drug addicts, the junkies around your area had superpowers because, they'd be running through this pitch black field at breakneck speeds that, unbelievable, and jumping fences with no issues.
Yeah, 40-foot leaps out of nowhere. You look up, and crazy stuff, or jumping on buildings and jumping off the backs of them without breaking ankles. And, growing up, we, it was always a thing. We always said, they have superpowers because you could see them get hit by cars, all kinds of crazy stuff happen, and they'll, like nothing happen and go on,
Right.
So when we seen this, it was like first thoughts, but then it was like, okay, no, this is not what it is. And then honestly, there was a few times that I kind of thought I seen something, but I probably did, but I think, subconsciously I did, but consciously, I tried to like block it out,
right?
Because there were definitely a few times that I seen stuff, but when you're chasing stuff in the dark, you're just thinking my mind is playing tricks on me. You're not getting a size perspective when it's in the pitch black. When you really chase something out into the pitch black, there is no size perspective when you're looking out there. You cannot gauge something. It is so easy to run up on something thinking it's a 6 foot tall person or a little taller and end up having to be a damn, 10 foot tall dogman, honestly.
Right.
Especially when you see him crouched down, because like we said, I had no idea, never knew about one of these things, anything like this, the Bigfoots and stuff. Because your one guest, Claudia, she's, like I had said before, she's about 30, maybe 45 minutes from where I'm at. So maybe 30, 45 minutes from where I'm at.
Right.
So, it's things I've heard of, but even the Bigfoot, I, never doubted it, but I can't say that I never believed or even put any time into it, if that makes sense, Well,
you're busy living your life, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no reason, no need to at that point, Now I'm versed a little bit on that too, apparently, just from research,
Right.
But,
so fast forward to your you've
seen them the actual first time. That, don't get me wrong, I've chased them in the dark and been, probably 10 foot, 15 foot away from these things more times than I can count. I've gotten out there in the pitch black chasing one, and then next thing you know, you start hearing stuff all around you and realize that that they flanked you and got you out there, or separated you away from the other people, or separated the people. But when we really got a good look, and it was like, because I kind of did before that, but when I could say I was like, okay, we definitely have one hell of a problem, would be one night. It was the girl that I was dating at the time, another buddy of mine, Ramiro, and we were out in front of the hangar out this way, and next thing you know, we heard that screaming, and it was just loud, though. It was really loud. It's usually loud, but it's super loud. Yeah. And then instantly it was like goosebumps. And it's funny, my bad to rewind real quick. I was just telling him about the amount of people and how much people I'm always removing and all this. And then I was just telling him there's some weird shit around too that, I haven't been able to catch, but I've been kind of catching on that, I don't think it's, it's something weird.
Right.
And I swear, just as I was finishing that, all of a sudden we hear screaming. So instantly you get like, I swear it's like instant goosebumps, because it was like same kind of scream, but different this time. And it was like, it wanted us, it wanted us to see it. It showed itself, So pretty much we look over and it's at one end of the runway. And next thing you know, like it's going real fast. I'm used to a little more colorful language. I apologize, but it was traveling at a ridiculous high rate of speed that made it look just even that much more bizarre and unbelievable. Okay. Because just the way it looked, and then the way it was moving and how fast it was going, it made it just, really, I don't even know how to almost an undescribable sight. It pretty much was like it had scoliosis, the way it was bent from the back, super bent. Then it's like buff, like a hunchback on the shoulders. And then, have you ever seen a dog or like a wolf? Best example, a wolf howl at the moon and they throw their head up.
Yeah.
And then it elongates real bad. Okay, throw a big old Adam's apple in the mix in there in the middle. Sounds stupid, but this is what we've seen, And I finally, after the last couple years, finally got the stories out of the rest of them, that were there, because nobody would talk about it, just me. Everybody else wanted to ignore it. But anyway, so we look over it, we see it. It gets about not almost a quarter of the way down the airstrip. And the airstrip's a little over a mile, you know what I mean? And it throws its head straight back at this guy and starts screaming, but it lets out this continuous scream. And it's literally doing probably, like, it's going to sound stupid. It's really going to sound stupid, but I even verified it with them, you know what I mean? And I've literally taken off on that runway, landed on that runway. I've taken cars down that runway. I built cars for a long time. I know how to gauge speed. You know what I mean? And I'd sit back from here, seeing the planes. I understand speed. This thing had been doing every bit of 80 plus.
Okay.
And then remind me to tell you about what my friend, because same experience, but what he told me just barely recently that I forgot about and what I didn't see. Because apparently there was more running at that time. I just seen the one.
At that same time?
Yes.
Why don't you throw that in right now? Why don't you just throw that in right now so we're in the same...
Yeah, he ended up telling me later on when I talked with him that no, there was two other ones, because right before that we thought we had seen two people in the bushes before that. So he was telling me that the two others were running around that same time. I had to ask him around, I think kind of around that area, but the one was mainly showing itself, because what they'll do is they will, if you see one, most likely, especially if you're out in Southern California, it's worse than I can describe to you. The numbers in Riverside, San Bernardino, Paris, Hemet, all around Riverside County and San Bernardino County, the numbers are, it's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I can't even explain to you. So if you see one, know that there is at least 20 to maybe, 50 more. And I know that sounds ridiculous because you don't hear about this on the East Coast, but my Dogman out here, they don't migrate. These other places, you guys get them seasonal, all these different things. They do not migrate. They have a food source. We have wild boar problems, the homeless, which I don't know if you wanted me to get into.
Yeah, get into that, because that was...
Okay, this was one of the main reasons I reached out. One, I knew the danger that I was in, because I am the type of person, I'm going to figure stuff out and get answers. And I could tell right up, this is some shit, stuff that, it's not really, it's very suppressed. I've looked into a bunch of different things, and because of, jobs and different things I've done, I've confirmed a lot of different things, right? There's information, there's documents, there's stuff out there for all of this stuff. There's not documents, anything out here. This shit is so suppressed.
Yep.
The other thing that was happening is, we have, pretty much the city seeming like they're siphoning these guys from all directions down towards the river bottom. Knowing damn well you can't tell me that they're not aware, 100%.
Yeah.
People go missing all the time. Once in a while you get a hiker, but the thing is, like we had talked about, Jeff, they are smart. So they're not attacking the houses right here because they know better. But guess what? Who knows about the homeless? Who knows the numbers? Who knows that Joe Schmo is there, or Joe Blow, you know what I mean, or Susie? Yeah. The other thing that's happening that they're saying is the women are disappearing at a higher rate than the men. But they're all disappearing. And you can talk to these people, they'll tell you, the one maintenance guy around here, he likes to go walk down there and drink his beers on his off time, right? Mm-hmm. So he's, friendly, knows some of the people around there, and then they're always telling him, get out of here at night, the monsters are going to come out, and they always tell him about the monsters coming out of the caves.
The homeless people are saying this.
Yes, and they're talking about how they're missing, and then I started telling people, I'd even told my family a minute ago, like, dude, like, something's happening with these homeless around here. And then talking with other people around the neighborhood, even other people around the airport, and even other people that go through the city, you know, we've all noticed the dwindling. You know, honestly, I got threatened. I got told to shut up. I can't use the language I used. I've had my family threatened over this, all kinds of stuff, because I started speaking out. That's one of the, I wanted to get out there and talk with you for many reasons, you know.
Yeah. When you said caves, like there's a lot of caves in that area?
Yes, because there's a lot of cave systems out here, because, you know, the makeup of the soil, and we got a lot of like limestone and these different things that, you know, you get a lot of cave formations out here.
Okay.
You know, you come across you got a lot of stuff.
Because I've seen,
you know, there's a lot of caves. And then the other thing is, it's a mining town this direction.
Yeah.
And then also there's mines and all that through all of California and all around.
Yeah.
Because of the gold rush.
Yeah, because I've seen like outside of LA, I know there's like some people.
Oh, and it's way bigger than LA County.
Right. But I know like outside of LA, there's like a lot of like old mining towns and caves and stuff like that. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Didn't mean to cut you off.
All these drainage ditches and sewers and stuff. I've tracked these things to the sewers, the drainage ditches, all over. The pictures I had sent you from the one, I had tracked them off the area and off into the areas. You know, don't get me wrong, there was young present, and you'll see them in the pictures. So, you know, like with anything, you're not going to go approach a bear cub. You're not going to go, you know, approach any cats, you know, like no kittens, nothing, you know, you leave that kind of stuff alone and you keep your distance, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially these things, they're territorial. That's the whole reason that this happened was, you know, we had all this aggressive behavior and stuff banging, like sketchy stuff all the time. But that's why, because pretty much they were inhabiting this area and it was pretty desolate and people didn't come around. And then literally the tops of the roofs, if you look at the trees, there's big old game trails that go all the way along. And you can see it to where the trees, you got branches probably 12 inches around or more, perfectly curved to the biggest game trails you'll see on the roof. You know, I also tripped out why we found so much leaves and so much stuff. It was almost like, you know, I tripped out originally, like, man, it was almost like somebody put all this shit here and then, you know, packed it down. It like, it was crazy. Like, you know, like they must have never cleaned it in 40 years or something. But no, it's because there was some kind of bedding up there.
Yeah, like a nest or whatever.
Yeah, so they'd have their lookouts there, and then they'd have the youngsters maybe up there, and they'd also have them in some of the buildings and hangars and stuff like that. So it's, you know, it was pretty wild. And I pretty much, part of the aggression, what I figured out was I intruded on their territory. Then, unlike you don't hear about, I was chasing them around. But the only reason that was happening is because it was the pitch black and I didn't know.
Right.
You know? So the other part, I didn't even finish. So the one night that we actually, we got a good look at it, like, oh shit, you know, some dog-headed thing, you know, excuse the language again, I apologize. But, you know, it screamed, we looked, and then it went not even a quarter of the way down. It threw its head up, literally doing about 80 mile an hour. No, like 80 mile an hour plus easily. You know, where it ran, it was a perfect perspective to be able to gauge speed on that thing. You know, and everybody else, when I've talked to them now, you know, it's the same thing. So it threw its head up doing this speed, literally, and it was running alongside of the runway. It wasn't even on the actual tarmac. It was on the dirt that you wouldn't, not the soft field. So it's not even somewhere that, you know, there's gopher. It's not smooth. And it literally looked like it had the best suspension ever. So it throws its head back, not even looking anymore, and it starts screaming. It literally, with its head back, screaming at us, ran all the way the rest of the way down. It literally did it in one breath. It didn't even take a breath. And it just literally just disappeared into the darkness and the brush and everything, you know, just out of sight, just disappeared. But I guess my buddy said at the same time, there was the ones running. And then the other thing that I forgot about is that they were on the roof at the same time, because I totally spaced it on that. And he was like, yeah, and they were on the roof at the same time. You don't remember? And I was like, oh, shoot, you know, excuse, I almost said a bad word, but, you know, and then it kicked in like, yes, you're right. I forgot all about that. So when the one showed itself, it had others around, and we were pretty much surrounded. Then me and my girlfriend another time, we were outside smoking. I was smoking and keeping an eye out, and then I had coughed, and then next thing you know, we hear like next to us, but it just sounded like super fake. Like these things make like bird sound, like anything you could think of. Even like there was peacocks around, they were making like the help, but then it went further because peacocks don't say help me, like randomness, like
right.
Random. Even though sometimes we've heard gibberish, but anyway, it copied me coughing. So I thought somebody was next to us in the next hangar that was open, because these ones were open, and then further down they have doors. So I go, I pull my weapon and I run at an angle, across to run out and at an angle to where I can see. And as I'm doing that, all of a sudden it was like doom, 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 and like it's my bad for that, the noise, but it was just the loudest. Like it got up and jumped on the roof before I could even run out there. It was like jumped on the roof, sounded like the place was gonna come down. And then I said something to her that like to the effect of, I didn't want to harm nobody with the firearm that night, but in different words. And I swear that thing heard that, and it took like 3 steps, and it like literally in 3 steps, it cleared a giant distance and jumped off the back of the damn hangars into the street and like land. You could hear how swiftly it landed and just took off. Like I don't even know how to explain it. It was the most insane, So I have so many different ones, and even her just some months back on the way to work in between Paris and Hemet, she was coming in between, and one ran across the street on her. She said it almost hit her car. If she had been going a little bit faster, they would have collided. She didn't know, like, she was about to hit it or it was about to hit her. And the way she described it is the same way that I have when I seen it on all fours, because all the 90% of the times I seen them was on 2 legs. I had never seen them on 4s really, and then I did. I'll tell you that right now. But so she described a buffalo, and then she tried to it looked like a buffalo, straight up. And she said it was getting ready. It ran past, and the freeway was right there because she was getting ready to get on the freeway. And she said, she described, how the dirt bikes have the turns? I was like, oh, like a berm. She was like, yeah. She was like, all of a sudden, right before it ran onto the freeway, it was like it hit a berm, and then it took off running down alongside of it, And then she's witnessed some, she from the beginning, and a bunch of times she's seen them with me, a bunch of times. She doesn't like to talk about it. And when she described the one, she drives a 2018 TLX. And it's a pretty good sized car. It's not a limo, but it's definitely not a small car. And she described it as trying to be as big as her car, pretty much. And I was like, no, because I'm thinking like what we've seen is about 10, 11, 10 foot, we've seen bunches of them. So we've seen, 10, 11 foot, smaller ones too, but, all of them are bad, but, that's, the worst to me, and then the cold part is it's not even like a couple of them are that big. No, like I seen a pack of them. That's how big these things were, they're huge.
Right.
So anyway, I started thinking, I guess it is possible, because if you seen it running and it was, stretching out at all, or it had its arms out or its legs back, then yes, it would be every bit as big as your car, And then then it started kicking in, because before that, I was out here one night and I went to go step into the office to go grab some ice, and I was over in the hangar. And all of a sudden, my neighbor's trash can gets thrown, like manhandled, and I'm like, I tried to it scared me, I'm unlocking the doors, this happened. It's pitch black out here, mind you, so I'm like, oh shit, and I turn around to see, and all I see is the trash cans just still flopping around, and nothing. So I'm trying to tell myself, oh, it's the raccoons. It was the cats, they went to jump in it and knocked it over or something, and, whatever. Anyway, I was kind of hearing some noises and stuff a little bit, Anyway, I go in, I get ice. I'm coming back out, and then I thought I heard some shit. It almost sounded like, excuse me, I'm really trying. It really sounded like gibberish. Is kind of the only way I can describe it, because, it's where I grew up, it's a very diverse, multicultural area. So there's anything and everything that you can think of, So I've heard a lot of different things, but, this wasn't none of that. Almost like gibberish. I know it sounds really stupid, but, and then I was hearing like it almost sounded like asthmatic bulldogs is the way that I try to describe it to people, like the snorting sounds and everything. So, all of a sudden I start hearing that. And then I heard some screeching, like the screaming, almost screeching, and then almost coyote, like so many sounds. I can't even describe it. It was like so many different sounds. So I'm like, kind of just really aware. I start walking back as soon as I pretty much get to the other side, because I had to go from one side all the way to the opposite side, if that makes sense. So literally, as soon as I get to the other side, literally the ground, I swear I cannot make this stuff up, like the ground started shaking. And then I don't know if you're familiar, Jeff, with the pit bulls and their claws, but they have a certain distinct sound on tile.
Yeah.
And like, or on, hard surfaces, they have a really cat-like claw. It's a little different than a lot of other dog claws in the way it curves down. Anyway, they have a really just loud sound. All of a sudden, it sounds like, I can't even guess, I don't want to sound stupid. I'm just like, whatever, a bull number, but, 1,500 pound pit bulls out there, on the thing, like it sounded ridiculous. Like literally the ground started shaking. There's all these damn noises going on, screeching noises. And then literally, man, the sound of the nails on the blacktop and the way everything echoes right here, it was literally like almost deafening. Like I just turned, I was already looking out, and I kind of just heard all this. I turned, and literally I see them running out, and it looked like they were chasing like 15 to 20 coyotes. And like it was crazy, because it was like they were running the whole time or something, because it wasn't even like, normally you'd have to like see something start and then get up to speed a little bit. No, it was like these things instantly came out at like 50, I would say, well over 45, but, like probably 50 range on all fours, just like running. And the crazy part is you could almost tell that they weren't even like, they were doing it kind of effortlessly, if that makes sense, like I don't think that they ran by me at max speed, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then I'm looking, and I kind of like the place has got, it was made of like old foam poles, super old, over 100-something-year-old building. So anyway, where the other ones were and the other hangars and stuff were, and they got torn down, there's a foam pole right by the side of my building. Like this shit all happened so fast, like I literally could not open the door because I would have shown light and everything. I'm pretty sure they were aware of me, honestly, to be 100%, and I only had a clip in and a clip in my pocket. That's it, and I have 45, single stack. So it's not something with some crazy capacity, but normally, I believe in good shooting. So you really don't always need, the most rounds if you're going to, be hitting what you need to hit, But in this case, it was useless. Literally, it was useless, and dude, it was literally like, it was like a stampede of animals, and then to see them on all fours, at first, I didn't know what I was seeing. I was like, oh shit, even though I knew about what I've been kind of, I kind of figured out what was around here, but I had never seen them on fours, so just like I don't even know how to explain it. Like it just, it really tricked me for a minute. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
For my mind, I couldn't wrap my mind, because one, it's so far out of the norm just to even realize like, okay, like I really am seeing this. other people keep seeing this too. Like, and it's been bunches of friends that have seen these things, you know, and then people in the neighborhood, the damn maintenance guys. So it's like, you know, it was already a hard one, you know, to sit there. It was already a hard pill to swallow. But
right, but with that many people, you've got clarification that there's
part,
obviously going. Yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, shit like that will test your reality so bad you will think you're insane. You know, I literally did, and you know, like it messed with me. You know, and then that night it really got me bad because I literally thought we maybe had like 5 or so. Because when I get drawn out a couple times, I would kind of track the sounds because it's so black. You got to rely on all your senses, man. Literally, you know, you got to really rely on senses. You smell, hearing, you know, what you can see, and trying to use it all together. You know what I mean? To gather yourself in that kind of environment. And literally, man, like, you know, get surrounded and you know, like maybe 5 of them. You know, I'm hearing different places, and honestly, when they want to be, they could be quieter than a squirrel, or they could be like a gorilla trying to tear the trees apart, literally, you know? So it's like, you know, you get them pissed off and they'll, you know, the trees look like they're going to break. Like, I've never seen nothing like that. We get Santa Ana winds out this way, and we're talking, you know, 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds plus sometimes, right? And they don't do what the Dogman does to the trees, you know? Like, they don't do it. But anyway, you know, I'm sorry, I jump all over.
No,
but,
you're fine. You're doing fine.
I have so many damn times, you know, I apologize. So pretty much I ducked behind that pole, and, dude, I tried to get as small as I could, and I was just watching them, you know, and they ran by with the damn coyotes. And then I'm like, okay, they went by, you know, and then I go to step back out, and then here they come again. So I couldn't even, it happened again, but from this side, I'm naked. I'm like out there. At least the other side, you know, I could have tucked, and I'm a little bit obstructed, right? And as long as we're running that way, looking that direction, they're not seeing me. But now they're coming back this way, you know, with the coyotes again. So I realized I don't think they're chasing the coyotes. And then the other scary fact is, why were the coyotes doing like 45, 50? You know, that's when I started realizing, like, oh, that's these things' dogs. And then it started kicking in why the coyotes were so brave around here. Because, you know, we've had different places we've lived, you know, and we've had big coyote populations. Like when I lived in Redlands, you know, we'd have, you know, 5 acres worth just orchard. And then, you know, I don't even remember how many acres, probably 30 acres or more. Well, honestly, I think more than that because it went all off. And anyway, just the orchard alone, you know, was 5 acres. And we'd get easily 100 coyotes out there. But if them things would see you, they were gone anywhere, you know. But came here, the coyotes were just too brave. They'll come up to you, literally, and you can't chase them off. They're like super brave, you know, almost like they would have rabies, but they don't. But this is why, you know. And then what I started figuring out was, you know, they use them for hunting dogs, you know, and like we were saying too, traveling with them and kind of just different things, you know. But that's definitely a thing because I've observed that after that time, and then also thinking about the other times that all the coyotes would pop up and then Dogman, you know, or these different things. I apologize. What? Oh, I was talking about when they had ran back. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Okay, so, you know, like I said to you, I'm nervous and I have so much to say, you know.
Yeah, Ed, you're doing fine, brother.
Okay, so, you know, and then I didn't even get into the numbers because this is the part that gets embarrassing for me because I already know in the comments and, you know, just in people's heads, this is the part that's going to make it, you know, not as believable because I'm already telling you, 10 foot, 11 foot tall, you know, and everybody's used to the Michigan Dogman or the East Coast or Midwest. There's these different places where these things are migrating. So you're getting smaller packs. They're not able to have the abundance of food. Mine are staying here. They're living well. They're living too well, apparently. So the packs are ginormous. So that night, I seen at least, I kept underestimating on purpose because it already sounded crazy, but I don't care. If somebody doesn't believe me, I don't give a shit, honestly. But at least probably, you know, well over 70 full figures that I was able to see, like full grown figures. Still can't tell you if they have a tail, though. I've seen a couple times where out in the distance where I might have seen one or two and might have. I still can't tell you that part. I don't know why. I can track them. I can do all this other stuff, tell you all kinds. I can't tell you that, though. Some of them, I kind of tell you, I think I've seen it, but I can't tell you on these big ones. I can't say it's something I paid attention to.
Right.
And it's so stupid. You would think with the dog-headed creature you would look, but I don't know. I haven't.
You know, while you were talking about that, I was thinking earlier that you had said, you know, there were some that had larger snouts, and then the larger ones had more of a flatter face.
No, opposite. The smaller ones that I seen, like that the more human looking one that I sent you.
Yep.
That guy right there, he's smaller. If you look at all the other ones, the ones that look like the one on your show, that timber wolf, or like the classic wolf, or like a German Shepherd. Yep. No, man, these guys, they got shoulders. Like if you look in the one pictures, like look through again, and you'll see how broad the shoulders.
I'm gonna share the pictures in the interview. Is that all right?
Yes. No, yeah, perfect. Honestly, like all this crap got me in danger, so I'm honestly trying to get it out there as much as possible, because legit I feel safer, because you know, then not even just that. Honestly, the other thing was, you know, it's a pretty dangerous and it's a bad situation that I'm in, you know, from multiple angles, you know, so if something were to happen, it's documented, you know, and they're not going to sit there and be like, oh, it's a coyote attack or something. I'm not getting taken down by no damn coyotes. I've been around animals my whole life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not what happened, or not going to happen. But, so, you know, I just had to, you know, get some of that out, you know, like I said, the threats, and just, you know, once again, I completely understand a lot of it sounds ridiculous, you know, like even before, you know, I would be in your comments always commenting, you know, and always saying hello to everybody, you know.
Well, you've been a subscriber for a while, and, you know, like you and I said, we had talked for a while, and, you know, you've got people out there that think that something sounds ridiculous, but, you know, here we are believing and knowing that there is a bipedal, large dog-like creature running around, but we can't accept the fact that, you know, there may be 70 of them, which doesn't sound, you know, to put this into perspective, like I kind of wanted to touch on something is, you know, when you had shared this with me, and we were talking, they've got a perfect area to hunt, and they have an abundance of food. Like you said, there's boar,
water, everything,
and homeless people. You know,
and then the other thing, my bad, I don't want to cut you off. I apologize.
No, it's fine. It's your interview.
If you look into it, there's shit tons of underground tunnels all through here that go from the mountain right here all the way to all over the place. Because I told you, and I'll send you the info too, you know, because I'm trying to share some, because I really want people to be careful.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, there's a lot of famous hiking trails in Southern California, and I'm next to one of them. And let me tell you, people go missing, and you know what I mean? Sometimes you'll hear about it. A lot of times you probably won't. And the homeless population, we've literally watched them go. I've seen them disappear from behind my shop. And I'm going to tell you what, I know it wasn't the cops, and I know nothing else happened. I know it was something weird, because the cops come and drop them off around here. I was explaining, I don't know. I won't go into that stuff until I'm okay with some of that stuff with you, because, you know, and it's not even like I'm going to say anything. I'm speculating. It's 100% facts, man. And
pretty much, I'll just say it for you. Pretty much what you're saying is these people know what's going on. And, you know, it's similar to the Tony Aaron's Amber Miller case in Tennessee, where there's a homeless population. The local government knows about it, and they know that there's these creatures living there, and they're hoping that these creatures will just take care of the homeless people, because no one's going to say anything about it.
That part right there, you know, perfect John Does and Jane Does right there. So,
yeah,
you know, that's exactly what's going on. And they're fully aware. And anybody that knows the epidemic with the, you know, homeless and all the drug problems and all the stuff that's, you know, like I told you, you know, this was, you know, the meth capital of the world for years and years, the Inland Empire, you know. So we've seen a lot, and it's super bad. It's way worse with this fentanyl than we've ever seen it. You know, these people are all over. It's sad, man. And then it's sad because even though a lot of these people ain't really worth much these days, you know, because they're lost, man. This is a different type of zombie type of person. Like, they're nothing there of a person anymore. Most of them, a lot of them, not all, but some are out just because they're down on their luck. And I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones that are zombified and permafried, you know.
Right.
But, you know, it's sad because even at that, nobody deserves this. Nobody. And that was the whole thing that bothered me. You know what I mean? And, you know, it just, I don't know how to explain it, man. Like, nobody deserves that. I've never been, I explained it to you, I've never been scared of anything in life. Anybody that knows me, if anybody thinks different, I have a bunch of friends jump in the comments, and I'm pretty sure that everybody will tell you the same shit. You know, I don't play. That's one thing. You know, I'm a peaceful person. I'm a helpful person. I don't bother nobody, but I expect not to be bothered, and I don't stand for any bull, and I'm not afraid of anything. Until a Dogman, I'll be 100. Like, I never knew fear until this, really. You know, I've had some sketchy situations that, you know, okay, that was scary, you know, but this was something else. You know, I've seen people freeze. You know, it's different, you know, and it's something that we're not told about, we're not warned about. So for me, the thought of that shit and going out like that, oh, that's horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So for me, I feel bad. And I don't know if you know, but I've been in the comments for a cool bit of, like, they're getting the homeless. Hell,
I've said it. You know, I mean, I literally have said it numerous times in Tennessee, and that's what reminded me of your thing, is because there was a subscriber who went down to Tennessee and talked to the homeless population and said, "Hey, these things are going to come out of the wood. Get out of here. Get on your motorcycle and get out of here before it gets dark, because they'll come out of the woods and jack you off your bike." You know?
Yep. Oh, dude, it's like, it's my bad. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, I was just putting some concrete to what you were saying.
Yeah. And the other crazy part is tell me when you've ever seen the homeless. Dude, we had thousands of these guys down here in the river bottom, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me when you have ever seen them with legit wrought iron fences and chain link and barbed wire all wrapped around their shit. Literally fences, man. And then these guys are down there, dude. They got all kinds of weapons, dude. Like, I've had friends get people pulling swords out and people running out with swords, and, you know, because, like, it's, you know, it's real popular for everybody to run through the Santa Ana River, and it goes from San Bernardino all the way to Huntington. So it's like everywhere you go, you know, there's people running around the side by sides and the most, but there's homeless populations all along, ridiculous, especially in certain areas, like, you know, out here in, you know, Riverside County. It's, you know, it's pretty bad. I assume San Bernardino's not great either, that direction.
Right.
But, so it's just sad, honestly, to me.
And like you said, it's not a way to go. It's regardless of, you know, something bad had to happen to put those people there, and they're still people, you know, even if they're zombified, you know, they're still people. And the fact that the government knows that what they're doing and what's going on, it just proves to the fact that, you know, the government knows they're existing, and they're almost helping to keep the existence going.
Oh, totally. You know, and then legit, when I got threatened and everything, they straight told me that they're aware of my problem. I need to get out of here. It's in the thousands, and I need to shut the F up because my family's in danger. I'm in danger, and I need to leave it alone, and that they've tracked these things all around me, and that they know that these things are on me, you know, because I'm not just a person that will, you know, I've kind of, you know, well, in the beginning I didn't know, but even after the fact, I kind of got scared, and then was like, scared, and then I kind of got tired of being scared, like, you know, different phases.
Right.
And then it just got fed up, you know, and I was tracking these things all over the place. And
yeah.
You know, yeah.
Hey, brother, listen, we're coming up on some time right now. I know that I don't have a lot more recording time, but I wanted to give you a couple minutes. Do you have any parting words to share with everybody before we end the interview? And don't hang up, because I want to talk to you for a few minutes after.
Okay. Yes, definitely be aware of your surroundings. Like, really be aware. Be aware of your children. You know, especially out here, I see so many people with children unattended all the time. You know, I never understood that as a parent. You know, that's not the type of parent I am.
Right.
But especially because you never know, you know, and these hiking trails and everything else, just always be cautious. The other thing is, don't listen to these people that tell you about don't bring a firearm and all this other stuff. Honestly, if it wouldn't be for that, I probably wouldn't be giving an interview, honestly, because these things are fully aware of what they are. They know the word. They know what a firearm is. And the other thing that people leave out is, you know, even if you're not pulling it out, they know you have a firearm on you because they can smell the powder. They can smell the gun oil. You know, a police dog can smell but they can smell, you know, gunpowder and stuff like that on you. So, you know, just even having it on you, they know, you know, unless it's never been oiled, never been cycled, and it's alive, and you know, then no, you know. So it's just, you know, what I would say is just be careful out there. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know about, you know, and even the crawlers, you know, I have a whole bunch more stories even about the crawlers. So whenever we have time, possibly, you know, so it's just, there's a lot of stuff out there. And in California, especially Southern California, it's a lot worse than anybody would think. Honestly, I never would have believed in any of this stuff myself. And if I wouldn't have gone through this, honestly, I wouldn't have believed it. My friend seen it on my roof, froze in front of me and everything before we got a real good look at it. And I finally accepted it, right? And he froze, and I didn't believe him. I felt like the biggest, you know, a-hole in the world, man, especially after.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you just, I don't know, just always got to be aware, you know.
Absolutely.
And if you get a feeling that something's watching you, you're probably being watched, you know. So just be mindful, pay attention, and know that these things are out here in numbers, you know, so be careful.
All right, folks, I hope you all enjoyed this second half as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. It is your support, after all, that helps this channel to continue to grow and go. And honestly, well, it makes it a place where people can share their experiences, ideas, and theories, judgment and ridicule free, simply treated with the respect that we all deserve. Thank you. Everyone stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real, they are out there, and they are dangerous. Share this information with the people you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for answers, and God bless.